Senator from Colonial Heights.
Madam President, I would ask if the Majority Leader would agree with me that this proposed constitutional amendment was first made available to the public earlier this week on Tuesday, October 28th.
Senator from Eastern Fairfax has the floor.
I don't think that's an unfair characterization.
Madam President, would the Majority Leader yield for an additional question?
Will the senator yield again?
Sure.
Senator yields. The senator from Colonial Heights.
Madam President, I would ask the Senator from Eastern Fairfax if he would agree with me that early voting in this election began on September 19th.
Senator Surville has the floor.
Madam President, I would agree with the Senator that voting was made available to voters who chose to exercise their right to vote early if they wanted to, and they obviously, by making that choice, chose not to find out what might happen to be released to the newspapers over the 45 days leading up to the election, but that's their choice, and some people availed themselves of it.
Madam President, would the Majority Leader yield for one final question?
Final question, Senator Surville.
Sure.
Senator yields. Senator from Colonial Heights.
Madam President, I would ask the Senator if he agrees with me that 1 million or more Virginians had already voted by the time that this constitutional amendment was made available to the public on October 28th.
The senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Madam President, I believe that, yeah, there's probably about 1 million people that voted before that. They also voted before some news was released by some partisan Republicans about one of the candidates for statewide office. They were also released before they also voted before the government shutdown happened. They voted before the east wing of the White House got torn down. There's some people that voted. Some people voted before they found out whether or not the U.S. Senate or the United States government was going to fund the tax credits to keep our health insurance premiums low in Virginia. There's a lot of different things that they chose not to be made aware of. Some people probably had already made up their mind and felt like they didn't need more information to vote, so they voted.
I thank the Senator. Madam President, speaking to the resolution.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, thank you. This proposed amendment, it's not just bad policy, it's a violation of the process, it's a violation of principle, it's a violation of the public's trust. And let's start with the most basic fact that we all agree on. Early voting began in this election on September 19th. Over 1 million Virginians had already cast their ballots, and yet this amendment wasn't even made public until October 28th. And so those voters, those Virginia voters, more than 1 million of them, had no opportunity to know where their delegate candidates stood on this constitutional change before they had the opportunity to vote. And we met one of those voters today. These are real people. That completely undermines the intervening election safeguard that our Constitution requires, Madam President. But this amendment doesn't just trample the process that we have created and put in our Constitution, it betrays the people's will, because in 2020, as has been said today and throughout this week, Virginians voted by a 2-to-1 margin to end gerrymandering in the Commonwealth of Virginia and to create a redistricting commission. They said very clearly, those 2.3 million Virginians, that politicians should not be drawing the maps. They called very clearly for an end to gerrymandering. And yet this amendment that we are considering today would strip that commission of its authority and give that power back to the very politicians that the voters removed from the process. And what's worse, it's being done in the middle of an election. That's not reform, that's reversal. It's not transparency, it's a power grab. It's been rushed, it's been secretive, and it's purposefully timed to avoid accountability in this election. Now, if we care about the integrity of our elections, about the rule of law, and about the message that we send to the people of Virginia, then this body must reject this amendment. We cannot rewrite the Constitution in the shadows while voters are still voting. We cannot undo mid-election what the people overwhelmingly decided at the ballot box just 5 years ago. Madam President, this process is wrong, the timing is wrong, and this amendment is wrong, and I would urge the Senate to reject it. Thank you.